rather will prefer this to be a dialogue if we have something, or we can share our ideas. And I believe that those who are here, the community members, those who are representing different communities, probably you will also have some questions, so you can ask that question, or if you want, you can share your ideas.
We'd like to take the ideas that we learned here today and to put them in a report, share with the community, as well as help guide and inform voters' choices as they enter this election.
One thing I see, then, especially in Scarborough neighborhood, we have a lot of immigrants, a lot of skilled workers who come from different countries, and among them there are skilled workers who could get a job, but they don't get a job, the same opportunity, because a lot of big companies, they bring in global resource from countries like India and others. I think that impacts the employment a lot here. I see that. I work in that industry. I see people, I know people who has that skill, came as an immigrant, but having a hard time getting the job. Those jobs are taken by the companies who is bringing resources from offshore, outsourcing. What is the plan for different, I'd like to hear from different parties, what is the plan to do about it?
Good jobs to sort of erase the bottom for cheaper labor. And what I can say about that is, federal government, different governments at different levels, we provide subsidies to businesses and corporations to try and stimulate economic growth. But which is a good thing. We want to stimulate business, but at the same time, what we could do better is to put strings attached, so we can actually provide subsidies attached to jobs. It doesn't make any sense for a company like Chrysler to have a loan forgiven for hundreds of millions of dollars after they close plants. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And we can, in addition to looking at job creation in Canada, look at the carbon footprint of these industries, so that we can become leaders in clean energy and become the envy of the world, frankly. That's what we need to be moving towards. Another issue that I kind of want to touch on, which I think speaks tangentially to this, is that of foreign accreditation. So we have a lot of folks who come as skilled immigrants with a lot of professional accreditation, but it's just jumping through all of these hoops, so much difficulty in having their degrees and their accreditations accepted. And in the NDP, this has been something that we've identified as one of the systemic barriers that hurt people of color and immigrants in their ability to actually achieve in this country, and which speaks to sort of that disproportionate income and wealth gap that we see. And so for us, we would like to cut the red tape in that and to work to have all of the people who live in this country bringing their best skills to make our country great. The other thing that we've also identified as an issue is that there is in our society, unfortunately, a conscious and unconscious bias against people who have racialized names, for example. So the Globe and Mail did an interesting report on this, how you could have the exact same resume with two different names. One name having a racialized name, one name with a sort of Caucasian Western name. And there is an interview with the exact same resume. So one of the ideas that we're talking about is actually looking in the federal sector to have no names, so that we can give people more of a fair chance and to fight against some of those systemic barriers that exist.
Are experiencing brain drain because everybody has come here looking for jobs and then can't find them. Greens are very vested in supporting local opportunities within Canada and focusing our development within our own domestic framework. And so offshore international agreements, trades, and systems need to be reevaluated, quite frankly. When we are losing jobs and companies are holding politicians hostage, saying that they're going to send them offshore, it's a travesty for us and for those who are coming here for opportunities. One of the very interesting things that I think that we have that a lot of countries don't is because of our diversity is the opportunity to grow in sectors, but we have to provide the funding to do that, right? And so there are industries that we also need to provide to other countries who are struggling to hit their carbon targets in energy, in agricultural management. We have professionals for days to provide those opportunities. We need to be working collaboratively with other countries to work on technologies that are going to allow each individual country to bolster their own economy and not only focus on export and import. I know everybody who likes to talk about economy likes to talk about, GDP growth, but we have to look at the fact that we're overshooting this planet. And so we need to work within what our ecology is providing for us, because that is what the economy is based on, our healthy ecology. And so if we are able to think locally and build locally, we will all benefit, and it will reduce our carbon offset.
They have very highly qualified credentials as medical doctors, as pharmacists, as engineers. And one of the challenges they face, first of all, is getting recognition of their credentials and then to get Canadian experience, which is required. And so let me just share with you in response to that, because it's a very real problem. And it's not just a problem for those individuals. It's a lost opportunity for Canada. We have talked recently about how important it is that every Canadian have access to a doctor. And yet we have people with medical training whose credentials are not yet recognized. And so we introduced a foreign credentials recognition program. We have provided financial support to over 1,800 new Canadians who have come here and need assistance in ensuring that they can secure good, well-paying jobs appropriate to their qualifications. And in addition, we know many of people who have come with those skills, but they need opportunity to have Canadian job experience. And so I want to share with you that we've made very significant new investments in what we call labor market transfer agreements between all the provinces. It's added $5.7 billion to significantly increase training programs, work placements, employer-sponsored training, job search help, career counseling, and much more. We want to make sure that everyone that comes to this country has an opportunity to succeed and to realize their full potential. And we don't want to lose out on the opportunity that those skills that people bring to us represent. I would make another, we speak of newcomers, and those are the things I wanted to share with you. But there are a number of impediments for people to participate in the workplace. Women, for example. And if we could remove all of those impediments and have full participation in the labor market for women in this country, I've seen estimates that imply that it would increase our GDP by $150 billion a year. And so it's not just the right thing to do, it's good for the economy and it's good for Canada.